Brashard Smith is a dog.
He's a dog.
He's a dog. That play where he tiptoed that sideline was beautiful.
I think Brashard Smith is the future. I really do. Just the same way that Isaiah Pacheco was the future when he came in as a rookie, I think that's Brashard Smith now. I don't think Pacheco is going to see another contract in Kansas City. I don't feel it. I don't feel it in my bones.
I think Mahomes is actually showing that, look, I'm going to put this team on my back. When all my weapons come back healthy, hell hath no fury. That's what he's saying.
You're listening to All Chiefed Up, the podcast.
Chiefs Kingdom ACU crew, how we doing? We're back with another podcast for that ass, baby. It's All Chiefed Up time. It is Tuesday, September the 30th. It's the last day of September, Mike.
Let's go.
Crazy horny.
Almost the last quarter of the year. It's fall. I'm happy. It's football season. Mike, we're a quarter of the way through the season already.
Yeah. It's spooky season out. And you know what? After the Chiefs put the smack down on the Ravens, it's spooky season in the NFL, okay? Because the Chiefs offense is back.
Hell yeah, they are. Let's talk about that for a minute. The Chiefs won that game 37-20. There was a garbage time touchdown at the end. It was probably a little worse than that. Lamar Jackson quit. He just got tired of getting beat, so he said, hey, I have a hammy problem. Took himself out of the game. It was a pretty good route for the Chiefs, man. It was a good game for the fans. I know we've needed a stress-free football game for years now.
Yes,
Finally
sir.
got one. I think it was good for the team, for confidence, for momentum, for a lot of things going forward because they have a lot of work to do. And, you know, the Chargers and the Raiders dropping games the same day was pretty nice as well. So the position the Chiefs is in now is dramatically different than what it was last week. So we have to be happy about that. But, Mike, you know what the missing piece was to the offense? Xavier Worthy.
Yeah,
Obviously.
100%, man. I'm excited to talk about the Chiefs today. You know, up to this point, it's not felt exciting to talk about the team because it felt stale. It was like, what's Nagy doing? What's this doing? Why is Andy calling this? Why can't Patrick do this? Why can't our offense look good? Why do we keep getting injured? We're this close. We're this close to having everything back to where it needs to be.
Oh, yeah.
It is so close. Like, we're getting Rashee Rice back here in a few weeks, man.
Let's
and
go.
This thing is going to be humming along.
It's going to be lit.
The nail on the head. Xavier Worthy, if he doesn't get injured on the third play of week 1, we're probably sitting at 4-0 right now.
Yeah.
Even with him being injured, we're probably at 4-0. If Travis Kelce catches 2 passes at the goal line, he probably gets in on both. We probably win both of those games in week 1 and week 2. But instead, here we are. We are at 2-2. We absolutely dog walked Lamar Jackson per usual. Spags absolutely destroyed Lamar. He always does. He has beachfront property in that noggin of his, okay? Because Lamar Jackson just can't figure it out. And to be honest, we do pretty well versus Derrick Henry. So I think Spags has just figured it out. Patrick Mahomes has 1 loss to the Ravens in his entire career, and it's because Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumbled a football, and he loses by 1 point, 36-35. He's 1 point away from being just a perfect record versus Lamar Jackson, who's many are calling maybe the best quarterback to ever play. I've heard that before.
That's pretty wild.
Get out of here.
We're not going to talk about that. But let's talk about the Chiefs, man. First and foremost, we'll talk about Xavier Worthy, how important he is to the offense. I think we noticed right off the rip, the offense looked different. I think they felt confident to go out and take shots early. I know that we've seen deep shots be taken to Tyquan Thornton, but it seems like they've kind of come later in the game. They came out the gates throwing deep to Xavier Worthy, and it opened up a lot with the run game, which in turn opened up a little bit more with the pass game. Patrick Mahomes was able to spread the ball out in the offense to probably like 9 different receivers. It's insane. Juju had a good day. Hollywood Brown got a touchdown. Tyquan Thornton got a touchdown. Xavier Worthy was killing it, bro. Well over 100 yards of total offense for him. It was just a good game, and I think that that's the thing that we were missing. I think you're right. You talked about how he went down third play of the game, and then everything just looked kind of drab from there. It was very stale because I think that they had every intention of him being the biggest piece of that offense, especially until Rashee Rice got back. So it was just like, dang, one of our motors went down. What do we do now? So, yeah, man, Xavier Worthy, you can't say enough about what he brought back to this team, the spark. offense looked completely different. And I honestly think the offense looked probably as efficient and as good and as exciting as it had in years.
Yes, 100%. Xavier Worthy was our leading rusher. This dude was extending the field down the seams. He was creating. He was causing the middle of the field to be more open, which is exactly what we need. Hollywood Brown looked better as the third option, not the first or the second option.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Look, Tyquan Thornton, we didn't think anything would happen there with his usage, but his snap count did tick down, man. He only played 34% of the offensive snaps, only 25 snaps total. So they did go down with his usage. Now, look, I don't know if that's because Worthy come back, just because of maybe some personnel stuff, or just maybe the game plan. It could have been any of that. And I don't really feel like Tyquan Thornton going forward gets less than 20 to 25 snaps per game. But look, you cannot allow that. And I'll give props to Nagy, because whether or not Andy or Nagy did it, and Andy on his presser yesterday said that Nagy was to give credit for getting Xavier Worthy involved back in the game plan and getting everything flowing with him. And he did a good job. It looked like Xavier Worthy had never been gone. Like, he literally looked like ready to go. And it's hard to do with a guy coming back off injury. You've got mental problems. You got this, you got that. But I feel like Nagy done a very good job of getting him used early and often, got his confidence built. And in return, Steve, it built Patrick Mahomes' confidence. And that's what we keep saying. That is what you got to do early and often with Patrick Mahomes to get this offensive juggernaut that we know exists. You got to do it to get it rolling.
Right. Well, it's crazy how all the dominoes kind of fell into place, right? They got Xavier Worthy back. They used him early and often, like you said. And then all of a sudden, everybody else is playing much freer. Travis Kelce had a much better game than he's had. He actually had a little fire in his ass. He went out there and blocked some people, made some good plays, made a lot of good catches. You also had Juju, who looked really good. Juju looked young and spry out there, baby. He was getting it. And then, of course, like you said, Hollywood Brown looked better than he had previously this season. I mean, there was one game where he had like 10 receptions for 99 yards, something like that. But this game I felt like was the best Hollywood game for me. At least the way they used him, I think, made sense. But, man, it was all phases of the game. It wasn't just the offense, but the running backs, man. Can we talk about that for just a split second? A lot of people had a lot of bad things to say about the running backs all season long, all off season, with good reason. We're now 4 weeks through the season. Have we had a running back to lead the rushing stat in any game? Because you just mentioned that Xavier Worthy was the lead rusher. Patrick Mahomes has been the lead rusher almost every other game, I think. I kind of want to look into that.
Week 3 versus the Giants, one of them had to have led because Mahomes didn't really get out of the pocket much that game, I don't think. I don't know for sure. We'll look at it. But you mentioned Kelce before we get to the running backs. You mentioned Kelce. Man, he only played 66% of the snaps. That was one of his lowest snap totals he's had in years.
And I honestly think,
yeah, and I honestly think that Noah Gray played 56%, and I honestly think that's why Kelce looked better. He didn't look as tired. He got a breather. He wasn't relied on as much. I think that now it's not the quantity of snaps for Travis Kelce, it's the quality at this point. You want to extend him as much as you can into the postseason, late into the season. You can't do that with Travis Kelce just out there running 70 snaps a game and half-assing it. I would rather him going half of that and giving you his full effort on every snap and then letting Noah Gray get involved a little bit more. We got to start doing that. Steve, we've been calling for that for weeks. Not even weeks. We were calling for that last year. And Big Bob Tonyan, he needs to be in there as well. Like, he didn't even get many snaps at all yesterday. I don't even know what he got. I think he got 12. He had 12 snaps. So Andy found a way to get the tight ends going, okay, and he didn't have to just rely on Kelce. I thought that was huge. It also surprised me, talking about snaps for just a little bit longer, Juju Smith-Schuster getting 57 or 78% of the snaps. He outsnapped every single wide receiver on the team. Does that surprise you?
No, man, I think it's the experience factor, right? He's that little security blanket for Patrick Mahomes when Travis Kelce cannot be that. So I really think that's why he played as much as he did, and it's probably a good thing. Juju made some plays, man. And I think Patrick Mahomes trusts Juju. I mean, that touchdown pass to Juju, do you think Patrick Mahomes throws that to maybe some of the younger guys? Because that was a piss missile.
Yeah.
Like
That was
straight in
flat out
between
rocket,
two
dude.
defenders. It was probably going a good 65, 70 miles an hour. Like, I don't know if you trust a whole lot of guys with that pass. He threw it straight to Juju, didn't think twice about it. That's the kind of thing that we need on the football field. That's what Juju brings to the football field. And if you watch a lot of the big plays, Juju is in there doing the dirty work, making blocks, making a way for other guys, setting picks, whatever he has to do. That's what Juju does. And I think that's why he gets so many snaps, man. But yeah, you're right. Noah Gray getting more involved is a good thing. That way it keeps Travis Kelce fresh. And I think we saw that. But back to the running backs. Once again, I think Isaiah Pacheco had a pretty good game. It's probably his best game so far. But it looked like to me, without a doubt, they trust Kareem Hunt more than him. I think I got that vibe because
Definitely
when they
a
needed
short
the
yardage
yardage,
situation.
when they needed the yardage, they're going to Kareem Hunt, and Kareem Hunt normally gets what he needs to get, right? So if you look at the stats, it's like, well, Pacheco, averaged 5.5 yards per carry. Kareem Hunt only averaged like 2 yards per carry, so obviously he had a better day. I don't know if that's really true because I think Kareem Hunt pretty much nailed it. Every time they asked him to do something, he got it done. And I think he was like 100% on efficiency from what they wanted him to do. But it was really nice to see Brashard Smith start getting involved. Not only did we see him in the passing game, but we also got to see him get some carries. And it looked good, bro. He looked good. He even looked good on special teams. I think what Brashard Smith can offer this team is invaluable. I think it's something that we haven't seen since Jerick McKinnon. I think it's something that we've been missing. So I think they need to continue that trend of getting him involved in the offense a little bit more.
Brashard Smith is a dog.
He's a dog.
He's a dog.
Let's go, baby.
Rough. Hey,
Yeah, man.
Brashard Smith is the man. And like you said, you've got to get him in there more. That play where he tiptoed that sideline was beautiful. I thought he had stepped out maybe once or
Damn.
twice. They
That
go
was a
back and
beauty.
re-show this dude, and he's just right down. Man, look, I think by the end of the year, Brashard Smith needs to be RB1. And I'm with you. Pacheco didn't look bad yesterday, but he cannot be trusted when you have to pick up inside the tackle. You got to run inside the tackle, and you got to gain yardage. I don't care if it's 1 yard. I don't care if it's 5 yards. You're not trusting him. You trust Kareem Hunt. He's not the biggest, fastest, strongest. He's not the most agile. He's not the quickest. He's not the youngest. But the thing about Kareem Hunt is he has the field vision that Pacheco doesn't. He has the patience to let the blocks to manifest. He has the patience to let the hole open up. And it was slow at times. There was a lot of slow developing plays for him, especially on some short yardage situations. And you were like, this ain't going to work out. He found a way to squeeze 2, 3, 4 yards and get the first down almost every single time. So like you said, he was trusted, and his numbers don't look great. His averages don't look great, but I'm telling you, he done what was asked of him time and time again. And there were several times,
Almost flawlessly.
there were several times he was available in the passing game, and it looked really good. So look, I'm not saying Pacheco was horrible, but there were times when Pacheco, I think I remember one play rewatching the game, and he literally wants to bounce things outside. He could have went off tackle right, went right to the sideline, and had a one-on-one block with a wide receiver and a DB that all he had to do was get by that, and he could have like chunked it. And this dude cuts back inside Jawan Taylor, I think. It was either Jawan Taylor or a blocking tight end over there. He cuts it back on the inside and gets stopped for like 2 to 3 yards. And it's like the one time you had permission to go outside, bro, and you stayed inside. So it's just a little things like that with Pacheco. I just don't think he's ever going to get that right. I don't think he's ever going to learn. Pacheco is what Pacheco is. He's a energizer bunny. He is a high effort guy, but he cannot be relied on to pick up meaningful yardage when it counts.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And I don't think Pacheco is going to see another contract in Kansas City. I don't feel it. I don't feel it in my bones. But I do think Isaiah Pacheco could be very valuable to another team. Hell, even the Chargers, or a team that likes to use running backs the way that they do, kind of going on the outside a lot and stuff. That's what Isaiah Pacheco's made for. And we just don't tend to do it a whole lot. So, I mean, it kind of is what it is. But I think Brashard Smith is the future. I really do. Just the same way that Isaiah Pacheco was the future when he came in as a rookie. I think that's Brashard Smith now. I think that's what they need to lean into. But overall, best offensive performance we've seen in a long time by the Kansas City Chiefs. You have to be horned up about it. You have to feel good about how things are going to be going forward, especially considering that they keep getting more healthy and more healthy each week. And then we get Rashee Rice back in a couple weeks off suspension, dude. So I'm excited about how it's looking. One thing on the offense, is the red zone. They're still having trouble in the red zone, not punching the ball in for 6, which makes us rely on Harrison Butker, who himself is going through some things right now. Granted, it's not as bad as people think it is, but it's still something, right? And that's the thing, man. I think this team has to get more efficient in the red zone, like 110%. There were too many wasted opportunities.
Right. Well, it's not just efficiency, because I seen a stat today that the Chiefs offense is the 3rd best team in the NFL behind the Colts and the Bills. 54% of its drives have been a score. They've scored. Now, look, not all of that gets in the red zone. I understand that not all of that gets in the red zone. That can count Butker field goals on the outside or whatever. But it's not just – it's the fact that they got to get 6. They've got to stop settling for field goals.
Exactly.
And so, again, it's not just – red zone per se, but it's more they have to just you just got to focus. You got to lock in on our side of the field. I think that's a lot of things too behind that. It could be play calling.
I do.
Yeah, I think that's a big one, man. I really do. It feels like Patrick not only battles, the defense, and you battle that the field starts becoming an extra defender. The sidelines start becoming.
Right, but Andy doesn't like to
condenses.
run in the red zone either.
Right. There's never a threat of a run in the red zone. It's a lot of little trickery plays here and there. They want to do a lot of motion behind the line, and half the time it's a little like pitch here or like a fake tight end screen, and then he comes over the middle. I think they even tried that with Kareem Hunt, and honestly I think Kareem Hunt could have scored it at one time, but Mahomes was kind of doing something different. So I'll give Mahomes props. I think he wants to break out a little bit of what Andy and everybody's confined them to in the red zone. I really do, and that's what I think Mahomes has done a lot better. Like you said, he shot a laser at Juju. Tyquan Thornton in the back of the end zone, he just threw him open right there, man, and just put it on the money. I think Mahomes is actually showing that, look, I'm going to put this team on my back. When all my weapons come back healthy, hell hath no fury. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, for sure. But Andy likes to get back to it's just kind of a stale, I guess. It's predictable. Like, he even tried that inside pitch. He tried that play that he tries every time in the red zone. And, of course, it got busted up. Mahomes thought better of doing it because it looked like it's going to get turned over. And he basically just had to take a hit right there, which is not good ever. So, I mean, I don't know. Things do got to switch up a little bit. But I thought overall, like I said, this offensive performance was great. And I think it's something to build on because not only was it great, I get it. They were playing kind of a decimated defense. That's going to get brought up a lot, but I don't see that as being a knock on the Chiefs and how they performed because it's still an NFL defense. It is what it is, and Mahomes looked much better. The offense looked much better, and I'm excited that they can build on it because there were some missed opportunities, right? So it can get better, and we're still going to get Rashee Rice back. Let's move on to special teams real quick because I do think all 3 phases of the game were pretty top-notch, right? But Butker did miss a 56-yard field goal. A lot of people are freaking out about that. Harrison Butker's missed a field goal in each game so far, so everyone's having a meltdown. Mike, we did a video yesterday on YouTube, and we kind of broke it down. So if you want to see a in-depth breakdown of the Harrison Butker situation, go check out that video when this one is over. But just to kind of sum it up, dude, there's no reason to be worried about Harrison Butker. He's the 4th most accurate kicker of all time in the NFL. This guy holds records for the Chiefs. He's always been efficient in the playoffs. He's clutch as hell. The 6 games, Mike, the one stat that I will pull from that video yesterday and tell you right now, 6 games in the playoffs have either had Harrison Butker tying the game or winning the game for the Chiefs. And he's clutching the Super Bowl as well. You can't dig too far into just some little woes here and there because it's happened before. He'll work it out. He's a professional. He is probably the best kicker in the league. I know a lot of people are going to say Dicker the kicker, but he's played half the time that Harrison Butker has. So there's still some things that remain to be seen with him. So I think Butker's top notch, man. I think it'll come around. Everybody's just got to chill a little bit. So I don't know if you have anything else on the Harrison Butker situation, but I don't think it's anything to worry about.
I don't either. I think it's recency bias, but it's in a negative way. So it's just everybody thinks everything's got to perform top notch. Sometimes people just go through slumps.
Are we spoiled a little bit by Harrison?
When Butker misses a field goal here and there, it's just highlighted a little more. Is it any different if Butker misses a 56-yard field goal, which, by the way, is a long-ass field goal? It's not like
anything 50 plus.
That's what I'm saying, but people have got so babied over Butker. But is that any different or worse than Patrick Mahomes, overthrowing a wide-open receiver for the 14th time on the sideline? No. Right. Like, except for that Patrick Mahomes give up 6 rather than Butker lost 3. So I get it. It is a little bit of a problem here. But look, I'm just going to be blunt and come out and say it. People don't like Butker because of what he said politically. That's literally the bottom line. Anybody that wants to dog on Butker, look, and I'm not saying.
Was it even politically? I think it was more. He's Catholic.
They don't like him because he was Catholic. That's basically what it was. So look, I don't know. Look, I'm not saying everybody did that. I'm sure there's people with genuine concerns. But let me tell you, the bigger thing that's getting the ball rolling is all the extra coming on because of that. Okay? Right. And so, look, you mentioned it. There's 4 kickers. Butker's 4th all time in active field goal percentage. One of those are Tucker. He ain't even kicking with nobody. One you mentioned is Cameron Dicker. He's played like 49 games compared to Butker's like 130. Like, Butker's played 3 times as many games. Of course, Dicker the kicker's gonna be more accurate, bro. And then Eddie Pinheiro, I think he's played like less than 80. So Butker's almost doubled him. Like, give these guys time to be in the league long enough to go through some slumps too. So it's not the end of the world. And I'm telling you right now, Arise is not holding the ball correctly. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think Arise is holding the ball correctly. And I think Butker's a big enough person that he's not throwing him under the bus. I think Butker's just taking it and taking everybody's BS just to let Ariza get all this together. And I think that Tobe, Ariza, Butker, Winchester, that special teams unit will get together and they will figure this out. It's nothing to be worried about unless Ariza keeps holding snaps. That's what I think it is more than anything. But one thing that we passed up before special teams, I actually want to talk about a little bit before we go to the defense, because that defense was amazing. But can we talk a little bit about the offensive line? The offensive line looked pretty dang good. And Creed Humphrey had himself a day, like a flat out day. When you went back and watched that, Creed Humphrey just flat out dominated. And I told you, and not to pat my own back, but I'm going to do it. And I'm going to toot the horn. I told you,
baby, toot.
When Kingsley Suamataia can figure his job out a little better, Creed Humphrey don't have to hold his hand as much. And sure enough, Kingsley, 0 pressures yesterday in 73 snaps. Shout out Kingsley.
How about it, baby?
Look, he's getting better. He's progressing. And because he got better and he understood things more and he wasn't getting confused and he was doing his job, that freed up Creed Humphrey to go be Creed Humphrey. And guess what happened? Creed Humphrey, an 83.7 PFF grade, followed by Trey Smith at a 74.2, Kingsley at a 73.3, which was huge. Josh Simmons finished at a 72, which was awesome. Jawan Taylor, down to a 51.9. So they didn't love what Jawan Taylor did, but I'm going to tell you this. If I live with Jawan Taylor only giving up 1 or 2 pressures a game, but you can cut out his penalties, I'm taking that all day, every day.
Absolutely. That's his Achilles heel, and everybody knows it. So if he can just get a little bit more discipline there and not get the penalties thrown, I think he's just fine over there at right tackle. I have no problems with him as long as he's not killing drives.
Yeah. Absolutely. He did get engaged yesterday. Yeah, he got engaged. Congrats to Jawan Taylor. He played such a good game. His girlfriend was so surprised. She was like, I'm not marrying you until you get out there and prove that you cannot get a holding penalty.
If you can go a whole game without a penalty.
Congrats, Jawan.
We'll get married. Mike, let's get back to the special teams for just a moment because I want to talk about the kick returning. Nico Remigio is a dog, okay? This guy is just flat out made to be a kick returner. He's doing a damn good job. And then you still had Brashard Smith, who returned some kicks, looked pretty good. And you also saw Jalen Royals. They're trying to get him, get his feet wet by getting him in special teams. You didn't really see him much on the offensive side of the ball, but he did return a kick or two. So it was nice to see him out on the field finally.
Yeah, well, Jalen Royals actually did play more than anybody remembers. He had 14 offensive snaps, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember not one.
Yeah, he had 14. He took 19% of the snaps. There might have been a lot of garbage time stuff there at the end, but yeah, he was in special teams right off the bat. I think he had a kickoff return like right off the rip. I think he may have been the first one to get a kickoff. So he was out there. I think you're going to see Jalen Royals get thrown in a little bit at a time. I would much rather, and I don't know if people agree with me. Let me know in the comments. I don't know if people agree, but I think if I'm going to give more playing time to either Jalen Royals and ease him in faster or to ease Brashard Smith in faster, I'm going Brashard Smith faster. I want to see more Brashard Smith. Now, I don't think the two are mutually exclusive by any means, but I don't think Andy is going to try to put tons of rookies on the field at the same time. So if trying to adapt Brashard Smith in the backfield means Jalen Royals gets a few less snaps here and there because they don't want so many rookies out there at a time, I'm completely fine with that, man.
Right. Well, I think Andy made it very clear that they're going to take it slow with Jalen Royals. So
as they should.
I wouldn't expect to see a whole lot from him in the following weeks, but I would like to see him get a little bit involved, see him get some receptions and just kind of get a feel for what the kid can do. So I think we'll see more and more of that. But special teams did a damn good job. Tobe had his guys in order. Nico Remigio, like I said, he's a dog. What he offers you, like you have to think about it. In my opinion, like I feel like maybe he should get all the kick returns because there's just always that chance that he's going to bust off a big play. I think he got us back to the 50-yard line at least once in this last game. This kid always has a big play up his sleeve. He's just a playmaker. And I think that that's a very valuable thing. And you can win a lot of games by just having that one good special teams return. Yeah. Like that can be a game changer. And I think having Nico there is awesome. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's enough to talk about the special teams. There's not a whole lot to dig into there outside of the Harrison Butker drama, which I don't think is much drama at all. I think it's just people adding fuel to the fire and looking for something to talk about, right? You didn't have anything else to complain about the other day, so you had to come up with something.
You got to find something to complain about.
Yeah, for sure. Man, before we keep going, though, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, make sure to give us a 5-star review. That would help us out tremendously. Also, write some kind words down there. Let people know where to find some good Chiefs content. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. Helps your boys out. Also, subscribe if you haven't already and all of that fun stuff. We appreciate you a lot. Mike, let's talk about the defense a little bit.
Absolutely. I've been waiting for this because I wanted to talk a little bit about Nick Bolton's day. I want to talk a little bit about just Spags dominating Lamar Jackson to the point that Lamar Jackson faked an injury. I don't care what anybody says. I feel like he faked it.
Dude, okay, I know that Spags has a great track record against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, right? But if someone would have told me before the game that he was going to shut them down so bad, keep in mind they were the third-ranked offense in football behind Buffalo and Detroit. If you told me he was going to shut them down so bad with his game plan that Lamar Jackson would outright quit in the third quarter and fake an injury, I would have thought you were joking. You know, I would have laughed about that.
The Chiefs and Spags put together another masterful game plan. We talked about the split safety looks last week versus the Giants, and now this week versus the Ravens. They just did more of what they do versus Lamar Jackson. And again, it's
a proven formula.
It's putting the guys on the line of scrimmage to try to prevent them from running the ball and to make Lamar have to pass. Because even in the playoff game that they lost to us, what did we all hear? Well, they would have won if they'd have stuck to the running game and Derrick Henry. Well, guess what? They come out this time and they barely ran the ball with Derrick Henry. I think he had less than 8, 9, 10 carries on the day. So he just, look, and a lot of that was because they did get so far behind. I truly get that. But in the first half, you're telling me Derrick Henry didn't have 10 carries in the first half? You're losing. Like, you're losing if that don't happen. So, look, the Chiefs flat out was nasty yesterday. They pressured Lamar Jackson on 52% of his dropbacks. That's the second straight week that KC's had a pressure rate over 50%. They got it versus the Giants and Russ, Lamar this week, and even on non-blitzing downs, Steve, KC got pressure on 10 of 18 dropbacks, and they held Lamar Jackson to one of the lowest totals he's ever had, his worst PFF grade since week 13 of 2021. They held him to a 45.8 PFF grade. That's
pretty
insane.
wild, dude. He had 148 yards passing with a touchdown and an interception. He didn't do a whole lot in the rushing game, but I think he actually did have more than Derrick Henry, which is another reason why Spags was just killing it, right? Our linebackers played an excellent game. Leo Chanel played an insane game, being that spy on Lamar, also looking great in coverage, getting the interception, laying some hits down. Obviously, Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquil did their parts too. I just think the defense as a whole, man, we can talk about Spags all we want and how much of a masterful game plan he had, but that comes with execution. And the guys on defense executed to a T the other day, man. And there's a lot of young guys on this defense. We have to give props to guys like Noel Williams, to Jaden Hicks. A lot of those kids, they don't have a whole lot of experience. Jamari Connor even looked really good the other day, man. And I just think that's a huge step in the right direction. And also, I'd like to bring up Brian Cook. This is the first game where I've seen him step up and impose his will on an offense, make himself known, make some big hits, and just play with a purpose and almost like take over a leadership role back there that we're missing from Justin Reed being gone. I liked what Brian Cook did the other day. I think this is his best game he's played by far. Look, if it's Chiefs football season, the only thing we want is a season filled with touchdowns from number 15 and some good barbecue.
So we understand that you're like us. That's what you want too. And so we're here to support a local Kansas City staple in the barbecue capital of the world, which is Kansas City, baby. Zarda BBQ.
We absolutely love Zarda. They've been nothing but generous to us and generous to you, the all chiefed up crew. We keep their sauces on hand 365 days a year. I put this stuff on everything. And we here at ACU proudly support their mission in the community and their mouthwatering food.
Right now, our boy hailing from the University of Louisville, Ashton Gillotte, is teaming up with Zarda to bring you his very own signature sandwich called the Takeaway. It is absolutely a barbecue sandwich lover's dream. This one-of-a-kind taste sensation starts with a generous portion of Zarda's award-winning limited reserve burnt-ends, melted pepper jack cheese, juicy pulled pork, thin sliced ham, and Ashton's favorite Zarda barbecue sauce, all piled high on a toasted Roma bun. But it's not finished there. This sandwich has a surprise waiting for you. They're adding Creole seasoning to kick it up a notch, and we're getting hungry just talking about it.
And speaking of community, Zarda is donating a portion of the proceeds from every Ashton Gillotte-inspired sandwich sold to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Kansas City. So what a great cause, and a good way to show your support for Ashton, Zarda, ACU, and your community.
So don't worry about cooking and cleaning tonight. Make it a Zarda kind of night and go grab some barbecue from either of their two locations. The KC Takeaway is also available at all area Hy-Vee Market grill locations throughout the Chiefs season from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily.
And you will not regret it. Zarda is legendary. And be sure to let them know All Chiefed Up sent you their way.
Yes, the safeties looked really good, specifically Chamari Connor. We give him a lot of hell. Because Chamari will be out of position. Sometimes he don't cover. But you did not see after the first drive, you didn't see Mark Andrews be a factor. Did Isaiah Likely even play? I didn't see him do anything.
He was in there. He didn't do much.
So look, though, we got two things from the defense yesterday that we said that we had to have. And that was good safety play, specifically Chamari Connor being able to shut down not only the run game when he needed to, not only get after the tight ends when he was in coverage, but also he had to keep an eye on Lamar Jackson and make sure his scrambling and all that was held in check. Chamari Connor played 54 snaps defensively, which was the most snaps from a defender, I'm pretty sure, out of any defender. And that beats Trent McDuffie, who only had 52 snaps, and Jalen Watson had 53. So Chamari Connor is trusted by Spags. And we have been saying this for probably 2 years now. It is time to get Leo Chanel as a every down linebacker. He needs to be on the field. Spags had him play 38 out of the almost 60 snaps that the defense played. So he played closer to 60 to 65% of the snaps, and he was the second highest rated Chief in the game at a 90.1 PFF grade,
Dude,
just behind Noah Williams at a 90.3. But Noah Williams only played 20 snaps. Leo doubled that, and he still had that high of a PFF grade. So props to the linebackers. Props to Spags for letting Leo play and seeing that there was a use with Leo Chanel and seeing that there was a use to saying, look, Leo can cover tight ends. Leo can be a spy. Leo can run people down. Props to Spags for doing that and adjusting it. I want to see more Leo going forward. He has earned that.
Absolutely. And then, of course, Trent McDuffie is always the silent assassin, right? Like, he don't do anything spectacular. He's not going to be flashy, but he's out there doing his job. I think all the guys look good. Mike, if there's any glaring weakness on this defense, I think it still lies on the defensive line, particularly on the opposite side of Chris Jones and George Karlaftis. We just don't have anybody that's getting it done. I don't know how much Omar Norman-Lott played. Did we get a snap count on him? Because
Omar Norman-Lott played about 14 or 15 snaps.
He didn't make himself known, right? And he didn't make himself known.
He played 16.
Ashton Gillotte had one play in particular that sticks out in my mind where he crossed the field to stop Lamar Jackson from gaining too many yards. But, I mean, that side of the line, man, we should be dependent on the veterans there. One in particular, Charles Omenihu, is not having a good year whatsoever. I mean, this guy is just not really putting up, especially to the standard that he puts out there for himself. And he's not putting up to what we thought he could do in the Spags defense. If you go back and look at the first year he was with the team, small sample size because he was suspended, but he was spectacular. We thought, hey, this guy fits right in. This is great. This is a good marriage here. But we haven't seen that since the injury, man. I don't know if there's something to do with that. I don't know if it's mental. I don't know what, but he's not getting it done. And then Mike Dana, of course, has been injured, but Mike Dana also is not that guy. He's a good rotational piece, but he's not that guy. We got to figure out something on the defensive line to create more and more pressure because you're nothing as a defense in this league if you can't put pressure on a quarterback. It's just all there is to it. You can have the worst quarterback in the league back there, but if you don't get pressure on him, he's going to find a way to beat you. So that is the name of the game, is to get pressure on this quarterback. We've got to figure that part out. And in turn, I think our corners and our linebackers and everybody else will keep playing at a high level.
Yes, 100%. I'm not going to say negative things about Charles Omenihu. But at the same time, unlike others out there, and if you want to go see it, go look at X, people are kissing his ass acting like he'd done something great yesterday. And he did not.
What did he do?
He had one tackle. And I'm not going to say the name, but somebody is so scared that he's going to block him on X that he's going to come out and say that, oh, he had some good snaps in there. He did not. Okay, Charles Omenihu is serviceable at best. He barely outsnapped Ashton Gillotte. And at this point, I don't know if he should outsnap Ashton Gillotte.
No.
He had 31 snaps. Gillotte had 26. And Gillotte gets just as much pressure, in my opinion, because this is the first game he's actually even been close to Omenihu. I'm going to read you the Chiefs' leaders in pressures through 4 weeks. We are a quarter of the way through the season per next gen stat. So this isn't PFF for all the PFF haters. This isn't nothing that whatever. This is next gen ESPN. So this is another source that isn't PFF because I know people whine and bitch and moan about PFF. Okay. George Karlaftis, 22 through 4 games. Furious George has been a beast. Yeah. Chris Jones has 10. Nick Bolton is our next guy up with 7. Okay. Then Charles Omenihu. Now let's think, how many times has Nick Bolton rushed the passer and how many times has Charles Omenihu rushed the passer and Bolton has one more pressure than he does through 4 games?
Right.
Okay, Omar Norman-Lott, he only played 16 snaps yesterday. He didn't even play in week 1. He's got 4. He's coming, he's being double teamed on the inside. He's not coming off the edge, and he's got 4 already as a rookie. Drew Tranquil has 3. Leo has 3. Chamari Connor has 3, and Ashton Gillotte has 3. So, dude, Charles Omenihu is doing damn near nothing at this point. Look, he's got 8 tackles. Oh, big deal. He gets 2 tackles a game. I don't care. I want pressures. I want QB sacks. What did he offer us yesterday? He lost contain on a 3rd and a freaking mile and allowed Lamar Jackson to get around the corner and get a first down. I want to say that was the first drive of the game, maybe. He got called for lining up offsides one time, I believe. He got a penalty. He whiffs Lamar Jackson on a sack because he's out of control and he just couldn't get around. And some people's going to be like, oh, that was a hard play to make. I don't care. Make it. Make it. If you talk as much as he does, make the play. Okay?
I'm right
make
there
the
with
play.
you. I'm right there with you.
I'm done with the Charles Omenihu experience and experiment at this point. Let Gillotte play more snaps. Let's get the young guy going. If Mike Dana's not going to come back, the Chiefs maybe need to look at the trade market there. That's where I would start looking more than running back at this point. I think I let Brashard Smith do it, and he don't run the ball enough to worry about it anyway.
Yeah, well, you notice usually throughout every season, about midway, Brett Veach likes to add something to the mix. He'll usually do something to try to improve the team, right before the trade deadline. And I think that that's where it's going to be this year. I really do think that Brett Veach probably sees this problem as well. I think Andy and Spags know it's an issue, and I think that might be the one that gets addressed. Now, who they could go get, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's
I don't know what they could do. That would be a whole entire episode in itself trying to figure that out. But we're not going to talk about that. But I do think that's definitely something that they're going to look at, man. But I think overall, we can all say this has been the best game the Chiefs have played in a long time. And yeah, we could talk about injuries for the Ravens and this and that, but the fact of the matter is, it's the Baltimore Ravens. They were a good football team. They're a good coached football team. They're always hanging in there at the end of the season in the playoffs, right there with the Chiefs and with the Bills. Granted, they don't beat the Chiefs or the Bills a whole lot, but they're always there. It's a good football team, and I am proud of what the Chiefs did this week. I think this is perfect for what they need going forward as far as confidence, as far as momentum, and as far as just getting out there that, hey, we're not disappearing. This dynasty's not over. The Chiefs are not dead. We are here, and you're going to have to deal with us. And I think that the league saw that yesterday, and I think it scares a lot of people. I think a lot of the casual fans are trying to discredit to make themselves feel better because they had convinced themselves that the Chiefs were bad. And all of a sudden, it's almost like on Happy Gilmore, right, Mike, where it's like, somebody learned how to putt.
Somebody learned how to putt.
Yeah, bro. It's like they got hit just like Shooter McGavin there. It's like, shit, bro. Here they come. And that's how it's going to be because that defense is legit. Which is wild that Spags is able to get that defense to where it is right now with all those new pieces. But they're legit. If you keep this offense rolling in the right direction, this team could be the best team in the Patrick Mahomes era. End of story. It's the most talented.
Yeah.
It really is. So I'm excited about it, and I hope that they use this to build on. That's what I hope. I hope I see more and more each week that this team is getting back to form and can really go out there and just beat anybody at any time.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to George Karlaftis, by the way. He's played his ass off for the past few weeks.
Let's go.
I just seen a thing today where he is 7th in the league in pass rush production. He's got a win rate this year. He has fought himself back up to a 16.7% win rate. That is tied with Trey Hendrickson, 16.7, and that is a
George.
16.8 is Aiden Hutchinson. So the only guys in front of him is Myles Garrett, who is a freak, Will Anderson Jr. Both of those guys have a 20% pass rush win rate. They win 1 out of every 5 pass rushes. Micah Parsons at a 19, Joey Bosa's at basically a 17.9, 18, and then it's Aiden, Trey Hendrickson, George Karlaftis. He has fought himself up relentlessly, and I've said this over and over again, he's not elite. I still don't think he's elite when it comes down to it. He's getting himself
in the conversation, isn't he?
But his work ethic and the way he's doing what he's had to do to get better, he is making himself elite. And I will eat these words forever if he can get himself up there to do that for the contract that Brett Veach got him for. Love George Karlaftis, love his attitude. He puts his head down, he grinds, he plays more snaps than almost anybody. He's never out of the game. But yet he doesn't have the attitude of the other guy on the other side not doing nothing.
Right. And nothing makes me as happy than a corny, dorky celebration by George Karlaftis because you can always count on that after a sack,
Steve,
baby. It's always a good
everybody
time.
in Chiefs Kingdom should love a nerdy white boy. I mean, that's who everybody loves to follow on X for all their Chief information. that's every single person that is a Chiefs talking head. And that probably includes us, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Once again, I just want to shout out everybody that's listening right now. We appreciate you. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure to give us a 5-star review. Write some kind words for your boys. We'd much appreciate that. If you're on YouTube, do us a favor, hit that like button if you haven't. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers, and we're pretty damn close. So do us a favor, hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and share us out with your friends. I know you have friends and family that love the Chiefs, and they need some good content. Give them all chiefed up, baby. Give them the gift of all chiefed up. We'd appreciate it. And you guys are awesome. Make sure to catch our video tomorrow on YouTube. It'll be coming out around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be on the lookout for that and much more content coming this week. Get in the game, baby. Get in the game because it's about time the Chiefs are getting going. It's exciting, dude.
It's exciting. Give them the love. Give your friends and family the love. The gift of ACU.
The love.
Give them the love tonight.
Well, it's getting weird, so we're going to get off here. We'll see you next time. Go Chiefs.